Welcome, Cancer, to your Mars in Aries 6 week forecast for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. From April the 9th through till May the 18th, Mars is powering through the most influential part of your solar horoscope. I'm going to share the event chart when Mars arrives from a purely Cancerian viewpoint and how all the other planetary players are informing this event, including your ruler, the Moon. I'll then go through all the influences that Mars forges over that 6 weeks. So by the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding of what's in store as far as energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. So on the screen, Cancer, is the event chart, and there's Mars at 0 degrees in Aries. That's a critical point in astrology. It's the vernal point. It's the beginning of the zodiac. And for you, it could be the beginning of a new period as far as your connection to the wider world. That could be around your voluntary activities. It may be around where you show leadership, but it could also be around goals and ambitions as far as your professional involvements are concerned. But we do need to take that broader look at the other planetary players because in the sign of Aries is the Sun, and that's in a T square with your ruler, the Moon. And that's because we have a quarter moon as Mars arrives. For the first week of his occupation in Aries, the Sun and the Moon provide a backdrop energy which suggests your interaction with people you work with could be coming under a little bit of scrutiny. But also, the Sun is in a square with Jupiter in your zodiac sign, which is in an opposition with the Moon. And I think when it comes to your hopes and goals and ambitions, that T square is saying to you it's very important to balance your enthusiasm with what's truly possible, but also ensure that your connection to others is part of your thinking in terms of the plans you forge. We also have Mars in a very tight conjunction with Neptune. It does become exact on the 13th of April, but Neptune in Aries, which is a hot, arid sign, is a very gaseous energy and it can be more idealistic. Mars can be very much about what we desire as individuals. And that could mean, therefore, that if there is something you've been thinking about over the last 6 weeks, as Mars has been making his way through your sector of freedom, adventure, but also knowledge, there may be something that is just manifesting that's important to you, and it may be something that's a little bit left field because Mars has been forging just a very strong angle to Uranus, the planet of innovation. And you could find yourself perhaps wanting to change out of a work situation that is perhaps a little too constrained. Maybe the expectations are boxing in what you want to do that would feed your soul energy, always important for a water sign, but particularly for you with your ruler, the moon. Also be aware the moon is in its detriment in that quarter moon. So if there are relationships professionally you're not enjoying, you're going to become more conscious of them. But because of that swirly, misting energy of Neptune, whatever passion and drive and determination the Mars energy wants you to embrace, Neptune is more sensitive and could actually see you a little bit confused over the first week of his journey about exactly what to do. Now, Mars by the 16th is going to be linking fabulously well to Pluto. Pluto's about transformation. And it's in a conjunction with the part of fortune in your eighth house, a very plutonic house, because that can be about where we might be attached in an emotional or even intimate way, but it can be about where things can change as far as our long-term finances. Now, if you're very clear about what your plan is, and you know exactly how you want to manifest your talents, Mars is going to give you more assertion, more self-belief, and more confidence when it comes to interviews, presentations, and the way you interact with people. And that link with Pluto suggests that if you're really clear, you could have a major breakthrough pretty soon around your professional situation, which can have some very positive financial outcomes. But then Mars is going to be moving forwards, coming into a conjunction exactly on the 19th of April with the cool Saturn. And of course, Saturn has been asking you for 3 months and a week last year, and ever since the middle of February this year, is asking you questions about whether you are in the right role or not. Now, these are the two malefics in traditional astrology. So by the 19th, you could have a tense conversation, interview, or discussion with someone you may need to bend into their will as they see it. So if you work in a corporate environment and you are someone who would rather do your own thing, it could be a telling moment when you may consider that working for yourself or doing something that really fits your values would be something that's much more appealing. But just know that friendships and even influential people can be very important to this 6 week period, Cancer, because Venus, the planet of money, but also of love and affection, is in a very friendly part of your chart and in a delicious link with Jupiter, exalted in your sign. So your allies could show up more strongly, and there could be someone who's very keen to push you forwards for you to be successful and encourage you. But if you're still not feeling completely sure about what to do about your work, by the time Mars aligns with Chiron, that's a good time to think or talk to someone like a life coach, perhaps even an employment consultant who may be able to give you some different perspectives on what your potential choices could be. Now, when Mars enters into May, it comes into a right angle with Jupiter. If ever there was a time not to believe your own publicity, it's going to be then. Because of the T square between the Sun, Jupiter, and the Moon at the start of this process, being realistic about what you can produce and what you are capable of is really important, because then it will avoid the trap of over-promising and under-delivering. But that can show itself up at the start of May too. But because of the square to Jupiter and also the square to Pluto, one thing that will show up through this period is something that I don't think your zodiac sign gets anywhere and near enough credit for. You can be one of the most effective managers of the zodiac. And also, you can be tough, very resilient. And particularly when Mars reaches Saturn in that conjunction, if there is something you really want to aspire to and there are obstacles coming up, your tenacity can really show up very strongly. But then by the 18th of May, Mars is going to move into the Earth sign of Taurus. And if there is something you really struggled for during the next 6 weeks, that's going to be the time when you can really savor the moment of the breakthrough. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances, Cancer. But if you've yet to watch your deep dive forecast for April, that's on the screen. Yet to watch your Libra full moon on the screen. If you'd like to order your personal horoscope reports, we've now changed the pricing so it's 3 for 1. So you pay for one and get three in total. Please see the link below. We realize that a lot of people are feeling the pinch. We're trying to do our bit to help. And also, if you'd like to sign up for your free daily horoscope, please see the link below for that. Get your celestial pit stop each morning fired to your device. And if you'd like to work with me personally, please check out my testimonials below. So to summarize, I think this is going to be a truly pivotal 6 weeks for your work. If you're enjoying what you're doing, you have a clear vision of what you want to go for, I think you can punch through and use the extra assertion and confidence of Mars being in the most visible part of your chart, but also the fiery passion that Mars in Aries brings. If you're not sure, this could be a time when you have a complete change of mind. When it comes to your love life, just be aware this process begins with the moon in the seventh house. Now, the moon in the seventh house has a preference for keeping the peace, keeping things on an even keel. But the moon's not so happy in Capricorn from an emotional viewpoint. So if you're thinking stability financially rather than what works for you emotionally, and there is a bit of a power dynamic going on in a relationship you're not enjoying, it's saying to you, you do need to do the right thing for you. But if you're happier in a relationship situation, Venus is linked to Jupiter is really quite delicious. Now, financially, that Pluto uh, sextile with Mars could be very, very good. That eighth house energy could see something transform. And because Mars has been forging a terrific link with Uranus, if you are collaborating with people who share your values and ideals, and it is something that's imaginative and different, that could be where you're going to put your attentions. As far as physical energy is concerned, I think if you are working with people and the atmosphere is not good, it doesn't really serve your sole purpose. I think that's where you could feel more drained. So just be mindful of that. Wishing you all the best, Cancer. Take care and goodbye.